What up, Derek? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, cool. The microphone wasn't working during the meeting, so. Yeah. Well, I'm still working on some crafting order balance stuff, so. Gonna hang out, probably mute myself at some point.
I think we might be. I
Hello.
was hearing that through.
What's going on, everybody? We are just going to get started in a couple minutes. We're almost ready, so sit tight. What's going on, everybody? I guess I should appear in game, huh? Did it work? There we go.
Good.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody? My Twitch share. There we go. Here we are for our closed beta 2 town hall. We have a few members of the team here with me. First of all, I'm Supreme, project lead. We have Jeffrey.
Hello.
We have James.
Hey, how's it going?
And Greg.
Hello.
And Matt. So, Matt's probably away. All right, so actually, I didn't give you guys a chance to introduce. Jeffrey, you want to say who you are, in case people don't know who you are?
Yeah, sure. So, I am Mifon, or Jeffrey. I've been on the team with the guys for about two years now, and I am the designer, and that's me.
Greg, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Greg. I'm Zenroth. Been on the team 3-4 months something. I don't know. It's a time warp. Trying to just make everything like free and smooth on the server and make everything fantastic for everyone.
Awesome. Definitely come a long way since you joined the team. So awesome. Well, we can quickly talk a little bit about some of the new stuff in CB2. I definitely think some of this stuff you guys might not even know about, so it doesn't hurt to talk about it a little bit. Obviously, everybody knows about the graphical overhaul. This was something that we felt was really important to the game before we launched. Just when you see the echoes throughout the internet, there's just a lot of people that say the game looks retro. And I don't ever want this game to be considered. Now, we have a lot of stuff that feels old school, and that's great. We're bringing back the good stuff from old school, but I don't think the game should look old school. So that was our reasoning for kind of spending a ton of time just kind of going over the whole world and just making it look more beautiful. So hopefully you all think it paid off. I think it's beautiful. I absolutely love the water. I just sit there and fish sometimes and just love it. The crowdfunding rewards, which... if you guys want to follow along here, I'll post a link to the CB2 promo image here. So the crowdfunding and founders rewards are on the promo. Unfortunately, they didn't make it into the launch. We'll be working on that probably next week. I don't know exactly when they'll go out, but we just ran out of time, and I figured it was much more important to focus on a stable and fun, rewarding experience, and we'll get the rewards in at some point during this this playtesting session. So that stuff is all coming. The new Awakening encounter, the Great Tree, it's a ton of fun if you guys haven't tried it yet. It's definitely aimed at big groups. If you guys don't know what an Awakening encounter is, it is a progressive spawn / world boss. James, can you kick people off the stage? We only need devs on the stage.
Yep.
Thank you. So it's a lot of fun. It's in the Black Forest. It's a little tricky to get to, but I don't know if it's updated on the LOA Hub map yet. Have they put it on there yet? I know Veronica's in the chat. Have you put it on there yet, Veronica? Let's see.
I'm saying your mic's cutting in and out.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Are you guys hearing it clear on
It is cutting a little quiet and loud.
Alright, I'll try not to... Maybe it's a wire or something. I'll try not to move it around too much. That's weird. Okay, let me know if it gets better or worse. Yeah, so it's down there in the swamp. When you look at the map, it's down there in the swamp. So, you'll find it. The town shop revamp. So, one of the biggest problems that we had, especially with limited stock, was it was really hard to tell what was for sale. I remember in closed beta 1 when we first turned it on, we had the limited stock turned on. When something was sold out, it would just disappear. So you'd walk into a shop and it would be completely empty. So yeah, we spent some time to make sure the shops look nice and it's really clear and easy to tell what's for sale. The Atlas is our constant effort to give people navigation tools without giving them a magical GPS marker that tells them exactly where they are. So the Atlas starts empty and you fill it with maps. You'll have to travel to the different cities, buy the maps, drop them in the Atlas. You can put your Atlas on your item bar. That way you'll have a hotkey for it. Now the whole M hotkey thing is a hot debate. It's not settled yet. We're not launched yet, so we'll figure that out. And we do want to give you guys some more navigation tools as we go on. So my mic is still a bit busted. This is not good. I wonder if it's the wire. I mean, that would normally be what it is if it's cutting in and out, right? Oh, wait, mate. Maybe that wasn't plugged in all the way. Okay. Is that better, guys?
Yeah.
Ah, good. Okay, excellent. Hopefully they were able to hear what I was saying. Was it at least hearable?
Yeah, I picked you up, yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So, yeah, the table animals is just a fun thing that we added. The grizzly bear and the hart were already in the game, but they use the same assets as the other, the hind and the black bears. So we fixed that. The fox is like the cutest thing. They're saying it's messed up.
Yeah, it must be something going between. Like I can hear you fine via.
Slack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, not much I can do about it right now unless it's really, really bad. Craftable saddle. So this is our efforts towards getting you guys more storage. Also makes it kind of fun because your horses can die. So yeah, it's an interesting way to bring things around with you. Along with that, we fixed a lot of the bugs with weight. So hopefully it's a lot harder to kind of hack the system and carry around tons of weight. If you guys are finding ways to do that, please let us know. We appreciate it if you can send those bug reports in. Believe it or not, we get a ton of bug reports, but we read every single one of them. Well, at least James does. Right, James?
Yep, every single one.
Yeah, we read every single bug report. Now, one of the things that people have asked me is why don't we post a known issues list? And there's actually a good reason for that. Because the frequency at which a bug is reported also gives us information. If a bug is reported a lot, that means that it's affecting a lot of people. So that information is useful. So if we were, you know what, I'm going to change this view here. Because yeah, it's better. We lose a little bit of the environment sound, but it just looks better. Look at all those beautiful faces. Yeah, so it is helpful for us to know exactly how often a bug is reported. Helps us to know how much it's coming up and how much it's affecting players. So that's the reason why we don't have a known issue. Original music, I'm sure you guys have heard it. There's some really good stuff out there. The guys we work with from Germany are just awesome, super talented people, and they just continue to crank out good music for us. So, and you guys have seen the login screen has been kind of revamped, much prettier, trying to give it that, like, we really aspire to ascend out of the kind of indie space. Now, we're always going to be indie studio, but we won't want our game to be seen as, oh, that's an indie game, and use that as an excuse for why the game doesn't look good. So yeah, so we really strive, and I think the login screen helps with that quite a bit. It's the first impression everybody sees. Some of the other stuff here, secure trading, crafting orders. Now in closed beta 2, we got crafting orders for fabricators too, which is awesome. The last one to be had is call the project lead a noob one more time and see what happens. So the crafting orders for fabrication are done. Carpentry is coming soon. That's going to be awesome. There's no music on the Twitch stream. Is the music playing? Let me see here. Oh, I have my music all the way down. It'll play once in a while, I guess. Fast travel, so we can talk about this one a little bit because there's definitely a lot of thinking that went into what our final decision for fast travel for closed beta 2 was. Now, it's not necessarily the final solution, but it's somewhere closer. So, we really wanted people to feel like distance mattered, so we were trying not to let people just mark runes wherever. But in a game with housing, it's really, really kind of important that you can get people to your house quickly. Otherwise, the value of your house is severely diminished. It makes it so that only people with locations like houses right near the teleport towers, those are the only houses that are really any good. So we decided to do the marking the runes. The reason why we went with portals only is because we still want magical travel to be a little bit difficult. Now, keep in mind, we do have bind portal stones, so warriors can still get to town. And you can also bury runes, so if you don't have the portal spell, the rune becomes a consumable item. So you just have to make lots of them. Dungeon revamp. Dungeons got new loot and kind of overhauled. Now, it's not just for the dungeons. It's all the points of interest. Just about every mob in the game drops meaningful things now. There was a period there when we overhauled weapons and armor that the drops were lacking severely, and we fixed that. So hopefully you guys are liking that stuff. The combat revamp. So there's lots of changes there. There's some things about the combat that you guys, it might not be totally obvious to you guys. Jeffrey, do you want to talk about some of the like finer points of combat changes, like stamina regen, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I can probably the things which have changed most drastically, maybe since CB1, which is a good starting point. Oh, that was so long ago. What did we do? So since CB1, we basically made changes to combat, which I'll start with stamina. I mean, what we did with stamina was we kind of fixed a lot of the things which people were complaining about. So things to do with run speed, attack speed, closing out fights was an issue, like kind of the deathliness of combat and kind of PvP aspects to it like that. So what we did with stamina was we wanted to give warriors some really meaningful decisions to make in how they use stamina. We didn't want it to be like mana for mages. We didn't want to kind of just create a warrior to be like a mage and have that same pool. But it works in the same way in that it's hard to encapsulate without you actually doing it and showing you. But the way that fights kind of bear out now and the way that PvP fights bear out, it's tons of fun. It's lots of very meaningful decisions. You've got lots of options to close out a fight and to really try and take someone down. But at the same time, you're investing quite a lot of yourself into those decisions, and it's quite hard to come back from them. So yeah, that's come a long way. And we've done loads of polish for PvE as well. So it's you just got to try it. I mean, everyone here is trying and having fun, but it's just basically going from the easiest mobs to the hardest mobs. We did a whole pass on pretty much all the mobs, all their gold, all their drops. Cleaned up a lot of old stuff, put in a lot of new stuff. Yeah, what else has changed in combat?
The weapon ability chance to hit is a little different.
Yeah, it is. We put in a chance to hit, which basically was to solve the issue where people early on, you have this kind of weird scenario where people early on were using special abilities for weapon skills they didn't necessarily have. So right now in PvP, if you try and use a weapon ability, then you will miss to a ratio approximately equal to your skill. And we're also thinking about softening that in PvE, because as much as we want people with very low skill to know that they've got low skill, because obviously you want to get better, we're thinking about increasing ability hits in PvE, because that could be a beneficial thing to do. We've also got some new special abilities as well, which we added, some for PvE and some for PvP. We got one which is Mortal Strike, which is a good new one, because it basically, when you hit a target with it, it makes them unable to heal themselves for a certain period. So that was answering one of the questions of, it's just another one of those really interesting abilities to use in combat to end those fights.
Somebody said in chat, horse for sale, never ridden, kicked once. So a lot of people are talking about the stamina system. So the stamina system basically works like mana now, right? So it's something that you use in a fight and then you regen after the fight.
It's similar. If you imagine how you play as a mage in not just our game, any game, you have a certain amount of mana and you have to use your spells in a sensible way in which to achieve what you want to achieve until your mana's all gone. And when your mana's all gone, you're not useless, because it'll come back at a small amount, but you've kind of got almost a finite amount of room to do something. So yeah, it's basically doing that. We wanted warriors not just to be like, oh, this is off cooldown, use it. This is off cooldown, use it. We wanted to get away from that kind of cyclical, rotation-y stuff. We wanted warriors to have very, very meaningful decisions. And we also didn't want them to be completely useless when they ran out of that resource. So when they run out of stamina, you're not useless. You can still run. You can still hit. You're still doing the same damage. You're just running a little bit slower, and you're swinging a little bit slower as well. So it's just cool. It kind of gives and it takes as you PvP or you PvE. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So some of the other things that are a little bit less obvious for people that are used to doing things a certain way, we moved some abilities to the skills window. I got to get out of the fly camera to do this. So if you guys look on the ability window, in the skills window, you go to animal taming, the command ability is now here. So the reasoning is for that is we wanted people to be able to command their pets without having the crook equipped. So the crook right now is just for taming the creatures, and command is now an ability that you can drag to your action bar. The other one would be hiding. So it used to be tied to a hotkey, and so it was a little bit less obvious. Some newer players. So now when you get to hiding, you can use the toggle. The hotkey's still there, so you don't have to use the button, but it's there now. We also added Bind Portal Recall Stones. Well, Bind Portal Stones. So Bind Portal Stone, they're purchased at the inn right now, and they will return you to your bind point, which right now you bind at hearths, which are in the different towns. Is there anything else, Jeffrey, that we've changed that might not be obvious to some people? Oh, we got blank books now, so you guys can write books and share them with people, put them in your house, lock them down, people can read them. It's really cool.
Private books.
Yeah, books are cool.
I mean, the biggest thing, which kind of goes without saying, is like our game's been online. It's been online nearly the whole period it's been in development. So it's it's gone through lots of iterations, and it's changed, and it's gone from being very incomplete to getting now more and more complete. So the biggest thing I've really noticed, which is just really hard to say succinctly, is it's really starting to come together as what we've done to skill gains, what we've done to the ways in which you can gain skill and the ways you can't gain skill, and all the polish we've done in and around that. Like, just the biggest thing that's happened is it's really just came together a lot.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that has changed a little bit is how you buy blueprints. So it used to be all the shops sold all the houses. Now there's different housing blueprints for sale in different shops or different towns. I believe, which ones have the high-end houses? Jeffrey?
Oh, no one's actually mentioned that yet, so let's keep it a secret.
You guys will have to find the high-end houses. I'm sure they found them.
They're there. Yeah, they're there. They're not in the main cities. They're in the not the main ones.
Somebody asked, how do you get the Club Prism? So Club Prism was a crowdfunding reward for $75 and up. It doesn't include. It's not for the Founders Packs. It's only for crowdfunding pledges. It's not available yet because it's part of the reward fulfillment stuff that didn't make it into this release. So yeah. I'm trying to find. Sonya made a post for us that had some questions in it for people that weren't attending. I figured we'd knock those out first.
Oh yeah.
She might have linked it to me here. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? If you guys can find it, send it to me in chat.
I have it.
I'll just cherry pick some questions. Dude, Mike is killing the ears. So is it still going in and out, guys? My apologies. I will make sure I have a new mic next time. I actually, honestly, haven't had any problems with this mic until just now. But that's just kind of the way it goes, right? Whenever you want to do something big, something goes wrong. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of questions here. All right. Some of these guys have like, well, it's actually not as many as I thought. All right, let's do a couple quick ones here. So, are there plans to make it easier to find specific shops in towns? Yeah, there's been some discussions on the team about that and making it easier for people to locate things. We haven't come to any conclusions yet, but we do intend to make some changes. All right, Jeffrey?
Yes, that has and is being discussed and will be.
The next one, are there plans to add training of animals and monsters? So you could talk about that one a little bit, Jeffrey, because we have made a decision on that, I believe.
Yeah, we have. The current implementation of animal taming, as it stands now, is very functional, and it's the bare minimum of what we would have hoped to have going into any kind of a launch. But what we really, really want to do is level it up quite a few levels. So, yeah, we've got every intention, and we have the designs going to start thinking about. We're getting into a position now to start thinking about doing it. I mean, we can't say when, but yeah, we really want animals to be something which you can level up, you can skill up, and I'll obviously give people a choice of like different animals to choose. So not necessarily like, you can have tankier animals or faster animals or animals with more kind of, yeah, we'll figure about it. We got some cool ideas.
Yeah. Let's try to roll through these questions quickly because I want to get to the Twitch questions. So will you be continuing to flesh out the world? Yes, very much so. It is a big effort that we're doing. I mean, you guys can see from closed beta 1 to 2, there's a lot more to, there's a lot more detail in the world. We started with the towns and we're going to work our way outwards. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot more diversity and a lot more landmarks, interesting things be popping up over the next couple of releases. Friend system party improvement. Yeah, friends list, we've definitely talked about it. It's one of those items in the backlog, and we've talked about the possibility of allowing you to send tells to friends. So the reason why we don't allow tells in general is because of just the issue of, gold sellers and just general immersion breaking stuff. People just randomly messaging you for no reason. So, but we do, we're open to the idea of allowing you to send tells to friends. Our dev's happy with the state of gamers right now. It's constantly going to be tweaked, and we welcome feedback. So, the best place to post feedback, guys, is in the forums, because we read the forums. Bug reports are more for specific issues, but throw your feedback in the forums, and definitely we read all the forums. We may not post a lot, but we lurk and we listen and we read everything. Where's necromancy? Nocturne posted that. What a surprise! It's one of our post-launch skills. So there's 3 post-launch skills. There's necromancy, bard, and they're not skills, but they're professions, right? They may make up more than one skill. Definitely necromancy and bard. The other one, there's a third one that's kind of there's a couple different choices that we might do for the third one, but those are post-launch. Advertise loyalty rewards. Are they coming to CB2? So yeah, all the fulfillment stuff did not make it on July 12th, the launch, but we will be getting it in before the end of the beta test. What incentive is there to PvP as a faction or to play as a murderer? Okay, PvPing in factions. Right now you get titles, Jeffrey?
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now there's a title system which it's not. How does it work? Yeah, it doesn't have an allotment of points. The way it basically works is you have to compete for the titles in the faction system. So there can only be one person with a top title. And there's only a set amount with a second, third, fourth, etc., etc. So there's only a limited pool of points out there, and when you kill somebody, you're exchanging points. So there is kind of a bragging rights incentive right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's the base implementation of it. We want to take it further than that, but there's definitely bragging rights.
Mm-hmm. What's the incentive to PvP as a murderer? Okay, first of all, it's loot, right? I was watching people go back and forth on this on Discord, just lurking, and honestly, I've seen, you can go to the kill board. It's killboard.legendsofaria.com. I'll drop the link in here. If you browse through the loot that's dropping on these kills, there is plenty of interesting stuff dropping in the loot. Somebody in Discord was actually mentioning, I was like, yeah, you know what? There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it for right now, right? And it's also kind of grudges and notoriety and, being feared and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is, there are some penalties on PKs right now, but at the same time, you can have a house out in the wilderness and be a PK and kill anyone you want all day, every day. There's definitely an incentive to do that because you get all that stuff, right? So there's definitely a reason to be a PK.
Oh yeah, no, it's we've definitely had discussions on the team about the karma system, and we will be making tweaks and stuff to that. It's not in its final iteration, so we don't. There's been this feeling amongst players that if you PvP, you will eventually become red, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's not how we want the karma system to work. We want the anti-PK versus PK thing, right? We want blues to be fighting reds, and we want everybody in between. We want the oranges and the whites and the grays to all be fighting each other. So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the middle ground of it right now is we've got a base implementation right now, which is ensuring that it works at a fundamental level and can't be gamed. So we've achieved that. The next big thing is we want that space in the middle. So we want the oranges and the grays to have a space to basically engage each other with far less penalty than they're having right now. And like you say, there are 2 things we're lacking. Right now is a space in the middle for the notorious people to play with each other. And then the last one is for the really notorious people, the reds, and the really blue people to ascend off into heroes and villains. That's the two prongs we want to take it next.
Yeah. Cool. So So, day 2 of CB2, and players are already in the 70s in some skills. Is that kind of fast, Jeffrey?
We're keeping an eye on it. Some skills, the main skills that I've personally seen getting that high, we are tweaking them as we go along. Like when we bring it down for patches, we're doing little tweaks. I mean, it is the point of this test. I mean, there's a couple which are too slow. There's a couple which maybe are a little bit too fast. Like someone's just said in chat, mining's too fast. So yeah, I mean, if you see someone which has got maybe 70, 80 in mining, or yeah, someone said healing. If you see someone that's got like kind of 70, 80 high skills in most things, I mean, you can kind of assume we fixed it already. So, like we're on top of it.
Yep. And at the same time, we're monitoring the data too. So we have ways to just analyze the skill levels of every player, and that was one of the main reasons why we wiped, so that we can see the data and the actual progression across the board, rather than trying to pick out new players and see how they progress. So we're using the opportunity for this wipe to really monitor that data and figure out where the skills are and where they need to go. So, world still feels empty. You're gonna add roaming mobs. So, this is something that we can probably. We were a little bit limited before by the performance of the server. Our server has gotten much better, so we can probably populate the world a little bit thicker. And also, you know, there was this design philosophy on the team that we didn't want aggressive mobs in player housing. And that may be something that we might change. We might sprinkle in some aggressive mobs in there. It's just something we have to discuss. I think he's referring mostly to housing because he says you can be adding roaming mobs, blah, blah, blah. So he's talking about housing regions. Will the current system of crafting orders to get random recipes stay? Let us choose the rewards. So that's the whole point, right? You guys should be trading with your other crafters and get together with other crafters. And if you already have a recipe, then trade it with somebody and get the one you need. That's kind of encourages social interaction. If it doesn't work, we'll think about changing it, but that's the idea. So get with your crafter buddies. Why are the orders so high? 120 maces is a bit exaggerated as your first order. Jeffrey?
Yeah, that's we actually are pending a fix for that, where it's the weighting system is a little bit off right now. So what should be happening is right now it's weighting it towards your ability. So when you go pick up a crafting order, it is looking at your skills. It's looking at things like it's looking at your character to determine what kind of order to give you. And yeah, the part of that which determines am I going to give you an order for 5, 10, 15, or 20 is not weighting properly. So now it's prone to sometimes give you the higher ones up. So yeah, once we get on top of that, you're more frequently going to get the smaller orders. But I mean, at the same time, once you start getting into the high skill levels for those crafting skills, you're going to start looking for those big orders because rewards may not be great now, but their rewards are better, a lot better once you get the skill up.
All right, so we need to fly through these because we've got so many questions coming in Twitch. Instead of gathering kindling from spots, could we steal the UL method and gather kindling from knifing on a tree? Yeah, kindling's a new thing. We may look into maybe giving you more options to get it because it is a little bit tough to gather it right now. We understand that, so we're looking into it. What happened to Helm's Mine? So we're balancing the difficulties or the where you get different ores. Actually, the resources are going to change soon. It may change during CB2. We're talking about using a resource system so that right now when you mine obsidian in one place in a mine, it immediately pops up somewhere else in the mine. So we're thinking about making it where a mine can actually get mined out. So we're looking at stuff like that. So the stuff's going to change anyway, but the idea is that the higher end ores should be in the tougher locations. Any story arc time planned for live? So that's an interesting question. One of the things that we found, and this was something that we learned from Shards Online, is that we have to be realistic about the scope and what our team can do, and we want to make sure that what we deliver to you guys is as polished as possible and feels like a finished game experience. So story is something we really want in the game. It's something that we feel the game severely would benefit from. But we want to make sure professions and the content of like hunting and skilling up and gathering and making money and getting famous and all that, all the dynamic player-generated systems, we get those done first and make it as tight as possible, and then we'll start to introduce really deep story stuff. Is that a good answer, Jeffrey?
Yeah,
We want story. We do
want story.
We need
yeah,
we need the game to really play really great first, because
Great,
that's the meat of the game.
Yeah, it's to do with impression. If you jump into a game, the first thing you see is players creating stories and players playing in that social kind of way, then you learn that first, and then if you can then expand and go off and take part in the story of the game, that's great. It's when you log into the game and the first thing you experience is a story. It gives you the wrong impression, right? So that's a good answer.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna fly through these. Why do we have recipes locked behind orders? We had recipes before and it wasn't good, and now they are back and obtainable through random recipes. We're gonna tweak it. It's one of those things. We want you guys to be able to get all the recipes you need. So just give us the feedback, and we'll adjust it accordingly. But I mean, I think recipes are here to stay. It's just a matter of how you get them. We don't want to make it too painful, but we want to make it a fun social experience.
I literally just got the message from a guy who's it's from Matt who's fixing it for us. And yeah, like once those orders start coming down in quantity, it's going to get a lot easier to get those recipes. And if we have to make it easier, we can make it easier. But it's better to be harder than easier to begin with.
Yep. Are there more plans for the Atlas? Will it be added to the paper doll? It takes too much space in your backpack. These are discussions we've had on the team. We're going to figure it out. To be determined. Seems skill gain is too fast. Was it already adjusted? So we are monitoring skill gains. We did make changes to them, and we will be slowing things down accordingly. We feel it's better to be too fast in beta than too slow, because people will just quit and leave. So we're going to slow them down to get them to where we want, rather than make them really slow and painful and you guys will all quit because it's too slow. So what about the lore? Well, players get to know more about the world. Yeah, we talked about that. We really want to bring story into the game, but we want to get the game solid first. Are there rare visuals for animals and beasts with same stats, slightly different look? So yeah, we do have some custom variations on animals. There's a dire wolf, there's the ancient bear, there's the grizzly bear. So I think we have a fair amount of those. I mean, we could always benefit from more. There's an ancient crocodile too. I don't know if anybody's ever seen him, but he spawns in the swamp with other crocs.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, there are things we've added which we kind of shouldn't say. Like there are rare variants of certain tamed creatures, but you'll just have to find them.
Did I just give it away? Sorry.
You gave a crocodile away, but that's it.
How long till barding? Sorry guys, that's a post-launch skill or profession. So okay, we've gotten through the forum questions. Now guys, there's no way I'm gonna scroll up through chat and re-get all the questions. So I'm just gonna grab the ones I can see here. If you asked it a while ago, ask it again, please. I see multiple people asking about the rogue profession. And so, rogue profession, while technically we have hiding and stealth in the game, I still don't feel like rogue is a fully fleshed out profession. So, to put it on the list of expansion professions would be kind of mean, because we kind of have some of it in already. So, I think we will probably make some efforts to try and get the rogue to a better place before open beta. Can I say that, Jeffrey? We're going to try.
Yeah. Well, there's the way we kind of look at it is there's a lot of people coming from games like Ultima Online see the rogue as like the person who annoys everyone else by stealing all their stuff, which is true. That's what they do, and we want people to have the opportunity to do that as well. But we don't want that to be all that they do, because it seems kind of cheap, because it's always the minority of players doing that who kind of do it in a way in which you'd imagine it's done, and it's mostly done by players just to take people's stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, there's also like the PvE aspect of being a rogue, which we can definitely put some content in. Like, it's a really cool open world idea to be able to play a thief and to be able to interact with the towns in Aria and actually steal from the towns. I mean, that used to be a feature a little while ago, but since we've made the map so much bigger, there's so much more work that has to go into do it. But yeah, if we can get thieves like interacting with the world and actually stealing stuff and having that its own portion of content of the game, that'll be great.
Yep. Okay, what happened to the loot and corruption? There's no tier 2. So corruption's kind of like a newbie mid-level dungeon. I don't think you're going to see a lot of high-end gear there, right, Jeffrey?
Yeah. Corruption before was a little bit too tasty for being in a guard zone, so yeah. It's not tasty anymore.
Let's see here. Oh, you know what's something we didn't mention, which is kind of interesting, it's something that Greg worked on, was Catacombs is more of an event now, in the sense that when death is killed, everybody is kicked out. So it makes it for an interesting thing where I don't know if has anyone opened Catacombs since closed beta 2 started. I don't know. Maybe you can tell us
No,
in chat.
I doubt it.
But yeah, it's more of an event now where you actually have to complete the event, kill death, and then everybody gets kicked out and the whole dungeon resets. So you don't have to worry about getting like slaughtered by back spawns, which is kind of nice. Because level 2 was kind of brutal because this is a respawn and just kill you.
Yeah.
Can you allow a bank that allows you to transfer items between characters? I mean, that's a cool idea. I mean, right now you have your house, so I think maybe it's a problem now just because a lot of people haven't got their houses yet. Right, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean, that's, of all the functions a house can have, that's one of the main ones. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess a shared bank isn't, it's not a bad idea. Like, you could have a bank and then a shared bank, like
Sure.
an account bank, but yeah, it's a cool idea.
ActiveE, what's up, ActiveE? He asked, what about referral rewards? Things you can see. What can we see from that? So right now, referral rewards give you straight loyalty, and that loyalty store, our first pass in the loyalty store will be coming out sometime during closed beta 2. So yeah, you guys will see it soon. Scrolling down, Mob AI, is it getting fixed? It's on the list. We want to at least do some improvements before launch. I don't know about an overhaul, but yeah, we definitely plan to give improvements, and I definitely think we need to distribute some more abilities to the mobs to make them feel a little bit different. So yeah. How was your guys' week? This launch has been great. So the team really kicked butt. We worked our butts off to get the launch up, to get the release up, but it's been fairly smooth. So, knock on wood, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm probably going to sleep a whole lot tomorrow. Will staves be implemented? Will you be able to craft them like scrolls? Staves.
Oh,
I don't know, he's asking too.
yeah, it's basically done, and there's a switch on turning it back on. It's more we're trying to find a really good, meaningful way to put it in. So the logic behind using staffs and the skills which will exist and be attached to the use of using staves to give a boost to spell damage. It's going to be a choice for mages to go and have a damage boost, to go down a more pure mage direction. We're just combat's in a really cool place, and we're just tightening it up, ready for going live in the big time. And when we're more close to that kind of reality, then we'll be in a better place to say in what capacity we'll put the staffs in. It's a balance issue more than anything else.
Yeah. Are we getting larger groups? I think that's so funny. We made it 25, and you guys are still asking for larger groups. We did talk on the team about an idea of making groups. You can mark another group as a friend to your group. So that might be an interesting way to allow you guys to have karma-friendly, larger groups. So, but 25 is pretty big. Group size is 25 now. Any plans to develop and clean the UI? I mean, obviously, we are always making improvements to the UI. You guys have seen from release to release, it gets better and better. We need your feedback. We need to know what you guys think we can do to improve the UI. So give us that feedback, and we will continue to iterate on it. I mean, that's just been a constant iteration improvement over the years. 10 steps at 1/10 the movement speed makes hide stealth feel like a waste of skill points. I think he's saying that stealth moves too slow. Jeffrey, what do you think about that?
But stealth moves too slow. It kind of ties into the thief profession a little bit. Like, we haven't gone in depth yet to particularly what from stealth to other people, right? So I think it's more of a case of, we could speed right now. If you wanted to make stealth useful as a standalone skill with no future implementation, it would probably be twice as quick. But we are hoping to we're hoping to develop the thief class. So it was built in mind of having actions be conducted from stealth and from hiding. So it's that slow for a reason. So we'll hold them.
Karma system is way too hard to regain karma, but so easy to lose. Any chance karma system gets more balancing? Yes, that is one of our focuses in the next couple weeks. So the answer is yes. When are community servers getting the new server build? We're working on that definitely sometime next week. And there are some improvements coming. You guys will see them in the notes there, but it's under NDA. And when can I get my own community server? So we are working on ways to open up the admin program to more people. Now, of course, the plan when we launch is to let anybody who wants to run a server. But for right now, we have it closed kind of for a variety of reasons. But we are working to open it. So it'll be, when we do open it, it'll be an application process. We're not just going to open up to everybody. But yeah, we're working on getting that, that system in place. So we're getting rid of protected zones other than in cities, right? Question mark. Yeah. There, I think, yeah, that's one of those questions. There's no good answer for it. What we've done, we've shrunk the guard zones quite a bit from when we first launched Celador, and I think that we're fairly happy with where they are right now. The main reasoning is that there are a lot of people out there that want to be able to play the game the way they want to play, and you know, it's one of those things. It's a compromise, and I think we're at a good place right now. But we are welcome to feedback, so send us that feedback. Can we get right click to close UI elements across the board? Maybe. Will you be putting in more character slots or a way to buy more? Maybe. Like another one, we just haven't quite answered the answer to that yet. Bags coming back to vendors. Where are all the stabs? Will coins ever convert in the world? Copper weighs too much. Yeah, I think the copper issue is only kind of an issue as a new player. I feel like maybe it's kind of good to teach new players that money has weight and that they need to convert it, but it might not be very obvious to people that you do it via the bank. So that's just something that we need to continue to iterate on. As far as stabs, we talked about that. Bags coming back to vendors. We're putting them in crafting, right, Jeffrey? Yeah, I think they're getting added to crafting recipes.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry. Yeah, the next patch which comes out, you'll be able to craft them.
What about a resource stash for crafting materials? I'm not sure what that is.
A resource stash.
Plans for food recipes. Yeah, actually, it was a little side project of mine. It actually leaked out on my Instagram. It didn't make it into closed beta 2 because there were higher priority things, and I just couldn't keep working on it when we had these big bugs. But I have it. I have a lot of changes sitting on my computer for new recipes to balance out the gain of cooking from 0 to 100, and it will make it in hopefully during one of the patches in CB2. Tameable dragons. There's a rumor about tameable dragons. Right now you can get wyverns, I believe, Jeffrey?
Yes?
Yeah. The only dragon in the game right now is the dragon at the Awakening spawn. So we like to make dragons rare because they're supposed to be legendary creatures.
Yes.
So, I'm scrolling down. As a new player, I'm really enjoying the game, but I also enjoy playing solo, dungeon-wise, and later content friendly for players like me. Yeah, I think there's a fair amount of solo-friendly content. I mean, like, once you get some mid-level skills, you can probably solo in Corruption and some of the other dungeons.
Yeah, well, it comes down to the philosophy that there's practically nothing achievable in this game in terms of items or, you know, there's nothing you can go out and get that you physically have to be there to get the thing, and you can't trade the thing with anybody else. So if there's something that you want, there's always someone who will get it for you, or someone you can buy it from. So there's never a reason to go and get a soulbound item, or, you know, put it this way, like, the way that we develop and the way that we actually implement content, it's never going to be based around requiring a group to obtain something you can't trade. So there's always going to be a way for a solo player to basically get anything that he needs in that regard. So yeah, absolutely.
Somebody said, when can we play on the community server? So community servers are still running with the old client. Some of them, actually, no, yes. They're all running on the old client. As soon as I can get the new server and get updated to it, they'll start popping on. So if you want to play on a community server, you can get the old client and play on those. I do need to make that available on the dashboard. I'm sorry, guys. I need to put the old client build back on the dashboard. I will do that after the event. How does it feel to be making quite possibly the best game of its kind right now? We are very passionate about what we do. We absolutely love this game, and we love the community. So it feels great, I guess. Yeah, it feels awesome. Is there any way to pledge to get access to the admin level? Yeah, it's actually not going to be something that costs money. We're going to do it by application because we want talented people, and we don't want to force it to just the people who have enough money to buy it. So yeah, it's coming. Sorry, guys, it's taking longer than we wanted it to. Is there an NPC trainer for every skill? I don't think we have one for every skill, Jeffrey. Most?
I think we do. Do we?
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I didn't do the trainers.
Answer another question, and I'll randomly just shout out yes or no in like 60 seconds.
Let us lock the compass to the top of the minimap. So, yeah, that was actually an interesting thing. When I added the lock button, I had never thought to make it lock however you want it. I just assumed you'd want to lock it to the default camera angle. But, yeah, I mean, we may be able to... That's probably not too hard to add to the next client. We don't do client updates very often, but yeah. Thoughts on size of the world versus population after Steam launch? Honestly, we are pretty happy with the size of the world. We feel like we might need a few more dungeons to support the player count that the servers are going to see. But for right now, it's working out quite well. We have yet to in closed beta 2 see our new player cap. We didn't have any server queues this time around. So it'll be really interesting to see what this game feels like when we're capped. We're holding back a little bit on trial keys for this release just because we want to really have the one big bang. So it'll probably be open beta. You know, the idea for open beta is to essentially, if somebody wants to try it, they will get a key and they'll be able to play. So it'll make it for a really, really interesting event. Karma titles. It's something that we actually started. We just never finished them, right? Jeffrey?
What, is this titles in
Karma
the calendar?
titles, yeah.
Well, yeah, it ties into when we do round 2 of tying up the karma system.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is going to... There's not enough information really spread about the colours and this, that, and the other. So the next part is actually voicing to players what that means. So I think that's going to involve titles.
Mm-hmm.
Variety, so yeah.
Any performance update around the corner? So we are interested in hearing you guys' performance issues, so please do send them our way, and preferably with a DXDiag file. You can Google how to send us that. You can send it to our contact email address, because we do want to hear that stuff. Performance has gotten much better. If you're new, the performance is way, way better than it was. Final Alpha was just terrible. Closed Beta 1 was better, and it's even better now. So yeah, we're getting there. We're always working on performance. Will there be an option like UO looking UI where you can have a black area? Jeffrey has been asking that for a long time, so there's a good chance we'll be able to get that in for you guys. Can't promise that it'll be in for launch, but we can try. What language would you recommend to brush up on to build your own servers? So when you're making community servers, the scripting engine is in Lua. So it's almost everything would be in Lua, except for when you're doing custom assets that you would build in Unity, and you build it into what's called an asset bundle. So custom assets are like custom maps and custom monsters and characters and stuff. Custom monsters and characters aren't in yet. You can do custom objects, but we'll be adding the ability to do custom monsters and animals and stuff later. Here's a good one. ETA until the end of closed beta 2. It's a tough question because we've transitioned to keeping our official server up 24/7, mainly just so people can get in and play the moment they buy a Founders Pack. As far as like this test, I think it'll last as long as you guys want it to because the server's going to stay up. We will be continually patching out and hotfixing the server with issues and improvements, and so the longer you guys are around, the more we can test those things and get them balanced. So stick around as long as you want. If you're asking when is the next wipe, which is open beta, that's to be determined. So one of the things that we do on the team is at the end of each beta test, we collect all the feedback, we get in a room, and we talk about it, and we make a decision what we need to do to get to the next stage of development. So right now we're getting very, very close to the next major stage, which would be open beta. In other words, we're going to do a major stretch test, and then shortly after that, launch. So it's at least a couple months away. I'll give you that. A month to 2 months at least. What tame skill do I need to start training Beast Mastery, Jeffrey?
GM.
Okay. Yeah, you can't train any Beast Mastery until you hit GM. Will there be an EU server at launch? Yes, we plan on having an EU server at launch. Maybe add weight to tutorial about money. Oh yeah, that might be a bad idea. So the UI tutorial that we created is a totally new thing for us, and we welcome feedback on it. We prefer to have an interactive UI tutorial, but for now the kind of screen-based one that we have right now is the best we can do. But give us feedback on the tutorial, what you guys think we should add, things we can add to the magical guide. If you want, we can make a forum post about it. That way you guys have a place to post. You know, I kind of like the magical guide, and I think of him as like the walking Wikipedia of the game. You know, just kind of like a walking fountain of knowledge. So the more we can put in him, the better. Sorry guys, I'm starting to skip over questions because we're running out of time. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else here. Will POIs get updated to stand out more and breathe a bit more life into the world? Yes, we have talked about that, and we want to do some polishing to the points of interest. Did you create the name of the game after Arya Stark? No, we did not. So the name came from the name of so the name of our world that you're on is Celador, but the name of the universe is Arya. So it was once one world that was shattered into pieces, and I don't really know where the name Arya came from, but it's the name of the larger world, and Celador is just one fragment of that world. Will you release an NDA? Will you release the NDA for talking about server modding? Probably at launch. Can I get a golden fishing rod to use to will there be more rewards for fishing? Like a special fishing hat. Fishing is definitely on the list of professions that could use some fleshing out. So it's there. It's on the list. So do we have a roadmap? Right now, the best roadmap we have is the roadmap page, which is linked to from the front page. So yeah. Yeah, no, you're not going to go on fishing run. Are you guys planning to have a reason to hunt in the world rather than the 4 dungeons? So there is a lot of points of interest on the map to explore, but like as we said before, they can definitely be polished and fleshed out. So yeah, we have some work to do on the points of interest for sure. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we'll start to wrap up. Thank you everybody for joining us. I'm really excited about the future for this game. I mean, this test here was a really great opportunity for us to show all of the really hard work that we've been doing to make this project what everybody hopes it will be. And I feel like we are closer than ever to the finish line. So I hope you all feel the same, and keep that feedback and those bugs rolling in. We really do adjust our priorities and our schedule based on what you guys say. So give us that feedback. Tell us what you think. Jeffrey, did you have anything you want to wrap up with?
No, just mirror what you said, really. It's just incredible to be here and see what you do and doing this and just seeing how far it's all come. And yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait to more. I want more.
More. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us. We will make this stream available. We'll just have a link to the Twitch video, so you guys can share it with people who didn't have a chance to see it. And yeah, keep up the good work, giving us the feedback on those bug reports. We read every one, like I said, so just keep them rolling. And thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for being a part of this, and thank you for supporting us in every way that you have. Thanks, guys. Do a wave in game if I can get out of my freeform camera. There we go. See you guys. Bye. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Later.
Guys.